Howdy, and welcome back once again, spring edition of Inside the Headset. Had a little miscommunication the other night, but we were able to get the three-peat 6A championship coach of the Oakland Patriots, head coach Kevin Creasy. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing good, Stuart. Glad you're here.
Well, I'll take the blame on last Wednesday night, so anyway, I own that one and everything. Good to have you and everything since wrapping up your last football game at Finley Stadium. Coach, you're 110-7 here since you arrived in 2015, completed 8 seasons, 189-19 overall. And so, you know, what's next for winning it 3 times in a row and been here in 8 seasons and four state championship rings?
Hope to go 1-0 in August. That's our big goal right now. We got spring practice coming up, and with spring practice, it follows up, all these workouts we've been doing, and it precedes us going and doing some 7-on-7 in the summer, and then we've got some tough scrimmages, real tough scrimmages in the fall that we're looking forward to, and then of course, like I said, hopefully that all helps us, go 1-0 on that first game against Independence.
And you're talking about preparing and everything and getting ready for the spring ball. I talked to all the other coaches. Everybody's got something going on different. What do you generally, before you go into spring ball, but when that time comes, what's got to happen for you and the Oakland Patriots? You've been doing this a long time. Your success speaks for itself. But what is it you got to do at this time with this group? Because each group is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, they give us a couple days of acclimation in which, we're able to kind of refresh our guys and walk through some things and, prepare, with just a helmet on. And then we'll have one day that first week where we're in full pads. And it'll be real fun for our guys. It's pretty physical, and we want to see who's able to use what they've gained in the weight room, who's able to use that to their advantage, and who can play, a physical brand. And then the next couple weeks, we're going to, just kind of treat it kind of like we would a normal game week. And we've got a scrimmage with Knox Catholic, and it should be a good scrimmage. I think they graduate that Friday, and then the following Saturday, in the middle of May, we're going to scrimmage them. And it's supposed to be at UT. It may not be, so we may have to meet in the middle somewhere. But right now we're looking at going on the road and scrimmaging Knox Catholic.
When you start to think about that and everything and replacing guys that have graduated, such as you just talking about Eric Taylor, who committed to Troy, and some of the other guys and everything, how do you throw that out there to the rest of the guys? I mean, I know Avery Hainsworth, some of these other kids, they'll be jumping in there wanting to get their time as a ball carrier and whatnot. But how do you kind of throw that out there? Is it just, guys, it's wide open, it's a free-for-all, or how's that kind of go down?
Yeah, we kind of got an idea of what's coming back, but at the same time, we remind everybody there's not an Eric Taylor over here to save the day anymore. Somebody's going to have to step up and do what he did, on the defensive side of the ball. We've got 2 of the best linebackers that's come through in a long time. We've got to replace. So, there's big shoes to fill, and that's kind of what's expected here at Oakland. Hopefully the next guy's ready. We can just plug somebody in. And, a lot of guys are inexperienced as far as Friday nights, but they have gotten in on Friday nights, in some blowout wins and stuff like that. So, it's one of those deals where spring ball will tell a lot about this team. We should be able to evaluate where we are pretty quick.
What's changed since you got here in 2015 on how you do things logistically, coming from where you came from Trousdale County, and in a numbers situation, and now you go from 30 kids all the way up to 90, what do you do different now since you first got here, and how you approach this fall with the numbers and just looking at it that way?
Well, the big thing is, who do you have helping you? And so, when I first got here, it was a scramble to find out, what coaches could help, what coaches were going to stay, what coaches I could bring with me, stuff like that. And so for the most part, we've kind of kept a lot of our core coaches together. There's some guys that come and go. Lost some good ones a couple years ago, but still have a lot of the same guys that have been with us for a long time, and that helps coach 90 different guys instead of just 30 guys. So as long as you don't have to coach coaches going into the spring, that helps.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of coaches, there's been a little bit of changes, I guess, and you were just telling me, and so you've assigned a new defensive coordinator,
right.
and go ahead and let that out, who the new defensive coordinator is.
Oakland graduate, David Watson, has coordinated defense before, but he's been our O-line coach for a few years, and now we've moved him over to the defensive side of the ball to take over, and should be a great leader on that side of the ball. And then Tyler Eady will not miss a beat and come over and be the O-line coach.
So, and Tyler Eady, he was coaching middle school ball and then doing some double duty with you on wearing a headset on Friday night.
Right.
So, is he eager to step out of that and back into the position? And what a heck of a college football player who played center, started 3 years in a row, and was academically unbelievable kid. He ended up getting his master's at UT Martin, and he's a smart kid on teaching kids where they need to be in the step and the technique, isn't he?
And he came from a winning program. He won back-to-back championships with Smyrna back in the day. So he's been a winner all his life, and already been in the classroom over here with us. So he's teaching over here, and the kids love him and gravitate to him. So that's a good thing. And like I said, he's been an offensive lineman. Played college ball, so he should step in, with big shoes to fill with Coach Watson on the other side of the ball. Coach Eady will do fine.
So we were talking a little bit before we got going and everything, and talking about scenarios and just how much you think about, if John goes out at left tackle, who do I replace, and so on and so forth, and just looking under the hood at some of your thought process. But you're already going through a lot of different scenarios now that, even if my quarterback sprains his ankle, what is my next move, or whatever the case may be. You are running through every scenario right now, and not anticipating everybody's going to get hurt, but it's about personnel, moving them, who can adapt, and also selling those kids on, hey, not only do you need to know right guard's position, but you also need to know the left tackle's position. How much of that goes on, Coach?
Yeah, there's always just 4 or 5 guys that kind of cross-train. They play both sides of the ball. But
right.
Most guys are going to major in just one side of the ball. And because of that, there's some guys that have to play a couple positions. Last year our right tackle was also a tight end, and depending on who we were playing and what was going on, sometimes he'd wear a 4 jersey, sometimes he'd wear a 74 jersey, and some games he wore both of them. But it's cross-training to a degree to kind of get some of those most valuable guys out there playing, more than one position. So we do play that game of what if, and you can drive yourself nuts doing that, but at the same time, you do have a pretty good answer. Instead of putting your 23rd best player in, you can just move a guy around and hopefully fill a spot, that they're used to playing, So you look, and like I said, the kid that's able to move around, he makes himself more marketable to colleges, what I'm saying? Deuce Hewitt is the kid we're talking about. Deuce has played tackle, he's played tight end. He's got an offer from Liberty, to play tight end. But if he puts on about 30 more pounds, he'll be a Power 5 offensive tackle. So he's got a lot going for him, but, he makes himself more marketable and more attractive to these colleges that are looking at him because he's able to do more than just one thing. He's not just a cookie cutter type of player. He's able to do a lot of different things, and that's a credit to him and his athleticism.
How deep does that go when we start thinking about special teams? Because you always have had a great special teams crew. I mean, even when we get down to the long snapper, so is there like 3 different kids that work on long snapping on the Oakland Pay. I mean, you got a 1, a 2, and a 3. I mean, how does that kind of go? Help us out there.
We're usually 2 or 3 deep at long snapper. Our starter, he graduates, and he's got a ride to Carson Newman. We want to make sure that, they understand what they're getting at Carson Newman in Turk. He's able to play O-line, but then at the same time, when it's time for long snapper, he's going to fit right in and come in and probably play pretty quick because he's really good at it. So Zach Turk, is going to be missed not just at O-line, but as a long snapper. But like I said, we're always working guys like that, so we shouldn't miss a beat.
Looking forward to the fall in certain games. Will Hester kind of mentioned it, and he's opening with Alcoa, as we heard in his spring coaches show. But he also mentioned he's going to be playing the Oakland Patriots, and that's going to be a big game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We had a great game with those guys last year. Had a phenomenal quarterback over there, and we were thinking we were probably going to see them again in the state championship if both of us made it there. And,
well, he went 4-1 in the. I think he just went a little bit down toward the back half of the season, and a couple of injuries there really killed him.
Yeah, injuries are a huge part of what happened in 6A last year. I don't know if we even make it to the championship if the running back at Maryville doesn't get hurt.
Right.
He's a phenomenal player in his own right. But you look at the quarterback getting hurt at Ravenwood, that changed their whole dynamic and what they were doing. And Coach Hester is going to be calling the plays again.
Yeah.
Really good play caller. And so by the time we play, we'll have a lot of games under our belts and should know what each other's doing. And of course, we go to their place, which is a phenomenal environment. Their student section was unbelievable this past year. And then after playing 2 years over there, the third year they're going to come over and play at our place. So it was a good deal. Like I said, we reached out to a lot of guys in Williamson County, and we're glad that Coach Hester agreed to play.
Let's go back and turn back the dial. A new coach over at Blackman, and you coached him when he was in high school, but as you've coached both of them, but we finally get to hear from the other brother, and that is head coach Matt Creasy. He's now at Blackman. And what do you remember about Matt versus Will when you were coaching them in high school? Give us a little under the hood.
They're real similar.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are real similar. Both gritty guys, and I was right out of college. I wasn't much older than they were, so I don't know how much coaching I did. I probably gave them some water or something. But they were both pretty gritty guys, and 155, 160-pound linebackers, and at that time there were 5 classifications. So we were probably the smallest 5A team in Henry County, and those 2 guys were both tough enough to play linebackers. So you got to.
Did they make you look good as a coach? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they're smart guys and played hard. And, that was the biggest thing. They always played hard, and you knew what you were getting with them. You were going to get everything they had. It was 100%, and they were 100 miles an hour in practice and 100 miles an hour in games. So that's a good testament how they were raised, and a good testament of what they're made out of. So those dudes, they're the kind of players that you always wanted out there.
It's going to be kind of good to have both the Creasy boys here in the region to play against them, and knowing that you're kind of the older guy that you watch them come up. And it doesn't make you feel old, does it, Coach?
Oh yeah, it makes you feel old. Right now it's good. I think I've got Will's son convinced to come over and play at Oakland someday.
Okay, good.
And so maybe we can work it out. It's going to be interesting in the future.
It is, I guess. Coach, anything, you've got a great faculty staff and administration as well as a coaching staff, great fan support, great band, everything. Is there anything you'd like to say to the entire group?
Oakland communities really come out strong, bought all of the hoodies and the sweatshirts and the crew necks and all that stuff. And for the 3rd straight year, we've raised over $30,000 to pay for rings and pendants and those sort of things. So, big shout out to the Oakland supporters and the ones that helped us. And like I said, no kid on our team's going to have to pay for a ring. So that's a big shout out to how much you know, the community at Oakland, you know, loves this team, loves this school.
Any fundraisers going on? Somebody mentioned it. You know, some of them are having lift-a-thons,
We
bowl-a-thons, whatever. What is your gimmick?
We started lift-a-thon
Okay.
today, so our guys have information. Just find a player, and he'll have information on how you can donate online. We're doing online donations this year, so that should be pretty cool.
Kids, won't be long. 150 days, we'll be back at it, and Stork Vision will be out and about, and so just stay tuned in.